island of Ireland, named after the ancient Celtic god Eru, had been the home of the Irish people for some 1,500 years. The Celts first settled Ireland around 500 BC from mainland Europe. Celts thrived in their isolation on the edge of Europe, developing a distinct culture and identity from the other Celts. The Irish language first emerging around the birth of Christ. With the expansion of the Roman Empire into Celtic lands, they dwindled. The Romans committed genocide against the Celtic peoples of Gaul, Hispania, and England, pushing the Celts into the remote mountainous lands of Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, and Brittany in France. This left the Irish as the strongest remaining Celtic peoples. With the coming of St. Patrick in the year 433, the pagan Irish converted quickly to Christianity. Ireland grew to new heights in power. Large monasteries were built all over the country. St. Patrick built the most important at Armagh. St. Kevin built Glendalough Monastery. St. Finbar built the monastic settlement of Cork, which would grow to one of Ireland's largest cities in the centuries to come. And others such as St. Fionan built isolated settlements such as Gaelic Michael, inhabited by hermit monks on rocky Atlantic islands. The Irish divided themselves among many warring clans and kingdoms. The O'Neill's Earls of Tyrone dominated the northern province of Ulster. The Kingdom of Munster controlled the southernmost province of the same name and held many powerful clans, including the Dalcass clan of County Clare, who would go on to place their chief Brian Boru on the high kingship and gain control of the whole island for a time. The Kingdom of Leinster controlled the rich and fertile lands in the east of the country, and would oftentimes ally themselves with foreign powers such as the Vikings, who settled all around the rivers and coasts of their territory, and later on with the murderous King of England. The clans with project power over their land from hill forts placed upon strategic high points and mountains inside their territory. The powerful of Ireland preferred to rule from these strategic fortifications rather than from large cities and towns like in Europe. The regular people would live in raths or roundhouses scattered far apart from each other all across the vast countryside. These were built of stone, sod, and clay, and were surrounded by a timber palisade or earthen wall to protect their livestock from which they drew their wealth. Medieval Irish agriculture was dominated by cattle. Gold, silver, or any official form of money was not widespread in Ireland, but cattle were used instead. The Gaelic diet was made up almost entirely of dairy, such as butter and cheese, which was supplemented by cereals such as oats, salmon, and other fish, berries, apples, and nuts, foraged in the large woodlands that covered Ireland, and meat. Cattle were too valuable to be killed and eaten, so pork was much more common. Potatoes were completely absent from the Irish diet at this time, with the first record of them in 1589. This diet was of a very high quality compared to other peoples of Europe, with most Europeans at this time living off of grain, bread, and other crops, with very low consumption of dairy, meat, and other sources of protein. This, along with the great freedom the Gaelic Irish, had resulted in a very high quality of life for the time. The Irish lived under Brehon law, which, unlike other legal systems of the time, granted gender equality, with many women ruling as queens during this time. It also granted women the right to divorce. Fines were used to punish crimes instead of punishments such as imprisonment or the death penalty, which was not widely used in Ireland at this time, but Ireland was far from a peaceful place. Warfare was common, with all able-bodied men expected to fight for their chief and king. The Gaels preferred hit-and-run raids rather than large battles or sieges. Groups of light infantry and mounted soldiers would strike settlements unawares, stealing cattle, burning buildings and crops, and escaping with hostages. The cattle raid was so common it was given its own name, Tan Bo, and was widespread all throughout Gaelic Irish history. This custom lasted over 2,000 years. The Irish soldiers did not wear armor, but fought bare-chested or wearing normal clothes, as they believed fighting without protections showed bravery. Great festivals and gatherings were common, the greatest of which was the Feast, taking place at the important Hill of Tara in County Meath every third summer, with all the important men and rulers of the island gathering there. This demonstrates the rich political, cultural, and trade connections all across the island. The Gaelic way of life lasted in Ireland for some 2,500 years, until the complete English conquest of Ireland in 1607, and following genocide and colonization.